Tobi Amusan, as you said, is majorly the topic of discussion for the day for everybody. We must say congratulations to her. She's been given permission to compete, by the AIU. But there are worrying statements also coming from the AIU, which we are going to, about an appeal, about some people being unhappy, with the decision taking. And what it says in quotes is, the decision is, where is it again? Okay, AIU head Brett Clothier has indicated the Athletics Integrity Unit is disappointed by this decision and will review the reasoning in detail before deciding whether to exercise its right of appeal to the Court of Arbitration for Sport within the applicable deadline. I'm not quite sure what that means, but hopefully the MD CEO of Nilayo Sports Management Limited joins us on the show. At some point was vice president of the International Wheelchair Basketball Federation Africa and then became president of the same federation. Served in Ogun State as a former commissioner for youth and sports, special advisor to Ogun State governor on youth and sports as well, and is the brains behind the top-rated Access Bank-sponsored Lagos City Marathon, the Abeokuta Marathon 10-kilometer race, and of course the Remo Ultra race as well. All of this attributed to none other than Bukola Olokbade, who joins us live via telephone. Good morning, Bukola. How are you?
Good morning, Charles. I refer to him as the finest face on media, alongside my friend Moses Praise. So those of you listen to his voice every day, but don't know his face, trust me, this is a very good-looking man.
Bukola.
Well, I'd like to ask Bukola a question. Bukola, does everybody know that you're universally known as Ozogula?
Yes. That's my Monday.
How you doing? My good man.
Give praises to God.
Nice one. Well done. You're doing good things.
All right, so Bukola, let's get straight into it. I just read a statement made by the AIU head, Brett Clothier, saying that he's disappointed by the decision made. What do you make of this?
I think we lost it. We've lost it.
Okay, let's try and get him back on.
We lost it. I'll tell you what, my own reaction to the news one is just relief. I didn't even celebrate, it was just relief. Because, we discussed it, I think, yesterday, and we're beginning to wonder that how was she going to find her way back? So it's just sheer relief.
Hello.
Yeah, hello. Okay.
All right, you're back. I was asking what your response to the AIU head, Brett Clothier, indicating that the AIU is disappointed by this decision and will review the reasoning in detail before deciding whether to exercise its right of appeal to the Court of Arbitration for Sport.
Well, first of all, I thank God for exonerating Tobi. We need to be very clear on what the issues were. Tobi was never accused of violating any drug test regime or regiment. She was suspended for what we call whereabouts. I'm sure our listeners are well educated on that. Nothing for us, because those of us who know some of the facts behind that, she was even also guilty of whereabouts because she was available for those tests. Unfortunately, one thing led to the other, she couldn't do those tests. But let me tell you, Tobi Amusan is one of the most tested athletes ever in the history of athletics. EPO, urine, blood, everything has been thrown at her. And this is one of the cleanest athletes, if not the cleanest, Nigeria has ever seen, and that the world has ever seen. So for me, whatever the head of AIU is saying doesn't make sense. You tested Tobi Amusan 3 days after the so-called missed test. You've tested her more than 5 times after that. You've tested her in every race she's done. And this woman that is the pride of this country has always had on her test led for being very clean. So if they are crying wolf over nothing, I feel we as Nigerians should just ignore that and concentrate on watching what to do about the World Championship and pray for good health for all our athletes. And we'll take it off from there. I'm very optimistic that all of this will end in a very good way with fantastic results coming out of Budapest.
All right, it's been reported that you played an integral role in ensuring that this suspension supposedly was lifted. What exactly is it that you did? Because we know that you have a close affiliation with Athletics Africa, no doubt about that.
The role I played was to be in constant touch with our agents in the US, the lawyers who filed the brief for her, and also the associate agents in Nigeria. But more importantly was the fact that we made sure corporate Nigeria did not take a decision in that suspension came. We made sure we let them know the fact that she's not guilty until proven otherwise. I thought it was a milestone for sports and athletes representation in Nigeria, because usually representatives of these athletes would have been very lethargic. They would have just sat back, and brands would have just said, we are withdrawing from this athlete, we are withdrawing from this athlete. And we stood firm on all the brands behind Tobi to say, you cannot do anything until this case comes. And we were very optimistic. We were very sure Tobi was going to walk free. Very, very sure. I haven't seen the facts. I haven't known if I haven't spoken to the lawyers in America and to the agents in America. We were very sure she was going to walk away from it. So when I gave assurances to, like with Dr. Pando, Professor Motayo, and every person that cared to listen, that this is a no-brainer, Tobi is going to walk away from this, it was based on the fact that there were a few things that I was opportune to have access to be sure that she was going to walk free.
Okay, Bukola, we seek clarity here at the Sports Zone, and I'm sure our listeners tuning in will want to know, because the truth of the matter, it sounded as if she was really up, the proverbial creek without a paddle. But can you shed more light on the facts? Because missing 3 drug tests in any field of athletic endeavor is usually a problem. So can you shed some more light on why she missed the drug test? Or is there a vendetta against her? Because you alluded to something that she's the most tested athlete and all that. Or is there some kind of vendetta? Or, is there some issue that we don't know about that the authorities have against Tobi Amusan?
No. Well, I've not said authorities have anything against Tobi Amusan. Let me just also say this clearly. I just mentioned on one of the sports groups I belong to on WhatsApp that it is a strict liability case for an athlete to make themselves available for whereabouts. And we must help our stakeholders to see how our athletes manage successes when it comes their way. This is an issue. We cannot sweep down under the carpet that the likes of Tobi, Esepume, Falcons, most of our athletes need proper person-to-person management in terms of managing their successes. Because according to the rules, whereabouts is a strict liability. But there were caveats. There were technical issues that even the testers, I know authoritative about the last test. The tester did not wait for given 1 hour that she should have waited before leaving. She waited for about 37 minutes. And in law, the courts are not for the Christmas. Your evidence must show that you were equitable in your approach. So there are so many facts that I cannot go into, but I just gave you that as one of the, just as a strict liability to the athlete, it's also strict liability to the tester to ensure that every aspect of the rules are followed.
All right. Just before we let you go, according to the AFN technical director, Samuel Onikeku, he did say that, look, the world champion and record holder coming from Africa is not something that a lot of people expected, and this will cause extra scrutiny. Do you believe in this? Do you think this statement is right?
No, I don't think so. I think that the global body is always very fair to every athlete, irrespective of where they are coming from. I know a few people who are deeper in the sports who would say there's institutionalized racism, but I'm always reluctant to be part of that kind of narrative. I believe strongly that it is an equitable body. I believe strongly that fair play is given to a Nigerian athlete, an African athlete, the same way it will be given to an American athlete or an English athlete. So I will not be part. I will not share, Yekeku's belief of somebody trying to witch on. I just believe that our world champion and all of our champions also must be helped by the system in having a person-to-person management on how to manage successes and on how to understand what their responsibilities are to the world athletics or to any other sporting body. When you are a professional under that body, it is a huge responsibility. But if you are making a lot of money through the sport, you should also be able to make a lot of time to respect the rules of the sport.
All right.
Thank you so much, Bukola Olokpade, for talking to us this morning.
Thank you very much.
Do have a good day.
Thank you, Bukola. Nice one.
Thank you.
You know what? I really appreciate that interview in the sense that it's what I'll call an is and was interview. The basic facts put out. And there are one or two things he said that I really appreciate, especially about the brand sponsors not rushing to judgment, about her having the ability to get lawyers involved, to defend her case and all that. Because a lot of times when people are accused of this thing, under the weight of everything, nobody can go into nitty-gritty of the evidence provided against you, and they're just swept away in the avalanche that, it's like a ton of bricks have dropped on you. And I'm happy too that he provided us with one crucial fact about the third test. And it's true, that's the truth of the matter. It's a technicality. But hey, if you say it's only supposed to come and meet you for a drug test, and you get there and you don't spend the required, the minimum maximum required by law as one, and you only stay for 7 minutes, then at the end of the day, you've not fulfilled your own obligation to the athlete. And another very good point too, our athletes too need to be educated and enlightened about their obligations and the strict liabilities that they owe to the authorities as far as drug testing is concerned. So let this be a lesson to every budding superstar out there. You understand? It's one thing to have the athletic talent. It's another thing entirely to be sustainable. But I kind of disagree with him. I don't have any evidence otherwise, but I just think it's the law of nature that the very fact that she comes from Africa, I do think scrutiny. I think I agree with what the director says. I think I do agree with that. That the level of scrutiny on her is bound to be higher because, as they said, they didn't expect her to do it. I mean, they'll be looking to the Americans and the Jamaicans and all that,
But generally, I think that there's, and I still stand to be corrected. From all the cases we have seen, there's clear evidence. We brought a lot of Kenyan stories over the last 1 year.
No, the Kenyans.
Americans, remember, Americans, Sha'Carri Richardson was punished.
Oh.
And even what she was punished for was what somebody else would have said, it was just...
That, to be honest, I was very, very, very upset at that because she was going through a depression period of her life, and that was a social drug. It wasn't...
So for me, for Tobi, and I'm happy she's out of this. I'm really excited. I hope that if they put up an appeal, she comes out better. Our athletes need to learn. It's not just about managing them. It's about letting them understand that, number one, you are going to a place where you have a lot of difficulties. Right? Number one, you're already in quotes, second class.
Yes.
So you need to do extra. 3 missed drug. This is not the first. We mentioned the Chris Coleman situation. So I went to check his story again just to be sure. And it was 3 missed drug tests. As a matter of fact, they were battling if it was 3 or 2 because, one fell outside the 1 year. And Chris Coleman was punished for it. He's American.
Was he? I don't think he wasn't punished.
He was punished.
Was he
It
punished?
was 2 years. He cut it down to 1 year.
No. I think he failed the drug test. I think he competed
No,
now.
he missed. He didn't fail. He missed.
No, sorry. But later, I think based on that.
He went to, so he took it back to court and then they now reduced it to 1 year.
Anyway.
But the point is that the athletes need to be more careful.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%. 100%.
The rules are the rules.
Yes, the rules are the rules.
And that's the major reason why I'm concerned with, their desire to take the matter to the Court of Arbitration for Sports. They say they're not satisfied with the decision. It just means that they think that there's some kind of loophole that they can take advantage of, which will not be good for her.
Oh, no, they probably think that she's taking advantage of a loophole and they want to block said loophole.
Oh, well, yeah, it could go both ways. But anyway, ultimately, I do agree with Bukola anyway. I don't think because she's African, there's deep scrutiny. The rules are the rules. You can't make because she's African. You can't make her do 4 tests, 4 out of competition tests. 3 is a regulation for everybody.
Yes.
Yeah.
No, but the reason why we say as African is there's a lot of Africans this year. At least we brought a lot of Africans, especially from Kenyans, and we know how.
We don't care about Kenyans. They don't care
but they're
about
Africans. No, but they're African. Why is the word Africans here now?
Okay.
Except we switch it back to Nigerian.
Okay.
So, but isn't Africans?
Who care less about Africans? I'm Nigerian. I'm not African. I'm Nigerian.
Okay, let's serve out the news hound this morning, but just to let you know, the numbers to call to be part of this discussion, 0809-234-5913 for WhatsApp and voice notes. Women only, 0809-191-3913, 0809-222-0913, 01515-0913, and 01515-1913. We're also on Twitter at Lagos Talks 913 with the hashtag SportsZone.